Australia's COVID vaccine rollout is just weeks away, but plenty of people are unsure about getting the jab. Tonight, our medical and legal experts answer your questions.
There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very reluctant to have the vaccination.
I will be standing in line when the vaccine is available to me, and I'll certainly be having it.
In record time, a COVID vaccine has been approved for Australians. It's a remarkable achievement, but no issue this important comes without some uncertainty. Tonight, we seek to ease the doubts and answer your key COVID questions, such as, will the vaccine make me sick? What are my rights in the workplace? And how can I get vaccinated? Our COVID committee features 3 experts in their field: a GP, a workplace lawyer, and an eminent medical scientist.
Well, at this stage, the intent of the vaccine program in Australia is to prevent severe disease, hospitalisation and death. And that's what we're trying to do at this stage.
Australia's peak science body, the CSIRO, first received samples of COVID-19 just over a year ago. Since then, our best and brightest have been working on better understanding the virus under the watch of the Director for Health and Biosecurity, Dr. Rob Grenfell.
We've never been in this position in humanity at a global setting before. We've done something remarkable. We've developed not only 1, 2, 3, now looking like 4 or 5 effective vaccines against a virus, a new virus that's emerged within the year frame. That's never been done before.
Late last month, the Prime Minister announced the vaccine from pharmaceutical company Pfizer had met safety and quality standards for use in Australia. We asked Dr. Grenfell if the process was too rushed.
And many people have said, wow, this has been fast. This actually shows what the world can do if we have a focused attention to solving a problem.
While we had Dr. Grenfell, we also wanted your voice heard. So together we popped down to a local supermarket to take on all queries.
When are we going to get the vaccine?
Yeah, that's a great question. So once we get supplies of the Pfizer vaccine in Australia, the government's mapped out a plan of who gets immunised and in what sort of sequence.
The government has announced a 5-stage rollout process. Firstly, almost 700,000 frontline health, aged care and border control workers will be vaccinated. 6 million at-risk Australians will be next around late March, including those over 70, Indigenous Australians over 55 and young adults with a disability or underlying health issue. Phase 2A will see over 50s receive the jab, while Phase 2B will see vaccination available for adults between 18 and 50 years old. Phase 3 will include children, if needed, a fact that was of great interest to new parents, Courtney and Dan.
I just wanted to know what the effect of getting the jab would have on breastfeeding mothers and stuff like that.
That's a great question. At this stage, it's not suggested for pregnant women, but in the breastfeeding, they haven't given the guidance to, in fact, actually take cautions. So what you should do when you actually have concerns about any vaccines at all is make sure you talk about it with your doctor.
Karen Price is a doctor and the head of Australia's peak body for GPs.
Is the vaccine safe? Absolutely. We've gone through a whole layer of expertise around the world, international scientists sharing information. This is truly remarkable what we're going through. It is a moment in history, for sure.
What isn't certain is how effective the vaccine will be for mutant strains of the virus, like those identified in the UK.
There's some degree of reasonable optimism, but also a level of good and reasonable caution.
But our sharpest medical minds do say that we need to be prepared that, like with the flu vaccine, the COVID jab could come with some side effects.
Yeah, they get a bit of pain around the injection site. They might feel a little unwell for a few days. And very rarely there are some more severe allergic reactions, which are effectively dealt with by the clinicians on site. So all in all, it's far better than in fact contracting the disease.
So where will the vaccinations take place? Frontline health workers will get the jab at their hospital or the site where they work. As the rollout moves to the vulnerable, the government will set up more than 1,000 vaccination centres around the country. And already, clinics like Next Practice here in Melbourne have put their hands up to be a part of it. As the rollout continues to the wider population, you'll be able to get the jab for free from your local GP.
You know, people are now in the process of planning that and working out how they're going to address their own patients and or other patients who may turn up if they're doing a mass vaccination site. So they're in the process of planning and there's a lot of work being done right now.
Lawyers have been working on whether employees can refuse to get the jab.
The overriding consideration is that health comes first and that your civil liberties don't match the health requirements.
Alan McDonald from McDonald Merhome is a leading lawyer in this area. Could you insist your boss provides proof that everybody in the office has been vaccinated?
That's a very good question. You would be struggling to get that information because it would require that health records of other individuals be disclosed, and you probably would have to be content with an answer from the employer. I've looked into this. I'm satisfied that it's a safe workplace.
Back at the supermarket, questions continued from mums and dads like Emma and Nathan, who've got a son at kindergarten.
So I was just wondering, is it going to be part of the no jab, no play for this particular vaccine?
Will it be required that a child has a COVID jab before they go to a no jab, no play policy kindergarten?
At this stage, the only vaccine that's been approved for use in Australia is for people over the age of 16. So I think in one sense that answers your question.
Well, that's helpful.
Does that make sense, Emma?
Yes, definitely.
Terrific. But the last word went to Nida, a mum from Melbourne's West, who'd read reports that a group of elderly Norwegians had died days after receiving the Pfizer vaccine.
The TGA has given provisional approval for the release of the Pfizer vaccine, and they reviewed the evidence from Norway to determine whether or not that was a risk for releasing the vaccine in Australia. And they've actually put some provisos for the very frail, but certainly for all Australians over 16, they're suggesting that it is safe to use this vaccine.
Does that answer your questions, Nida?
Yeah.
Do you feel a little bit more relaxed about it now?
We do, yeah, definitely. Everyone wants to just get out there and get their shot as soon as possible so we can get back to regular life.
Details of the rollout will continue to be updated on the Federal Department of Health website.